Hello all and welcome to Thread Solution. So in today's session, we'll be seeing about what are different types of DAX calculations and steps to create calculated columns, steps to create calculated measures, and steps to create calculated table, and how are the measures created in DAX. So this is the topic where we are going to discuss in today's session. Topic, let's see what is DAX calculation types. So in Power BI, there are three different calculations used using DAX. So we have calculated columns, calculated measures, and calculated tables. What is calculated columns? So this calculation will add an additional column to a table based on a formula. So these columns are treated like another field in the table. And what are calculated measures? So this calculation will add a summary or aggregated measure to a table based on a formula. Next, calculated tables. So this calculation will add an additional table to the report based on a formula. So let's see what is the difference between column and the measure. So calculated column is once you create a column which reflects in the table, whereas the measure you can see the formula but you can't see it in the tabular form. That is the main difference where it holds. So let's see the steps to create a calculated column. So as we know, so to get some data from the get data, we need to have different types of data sources where it can take from multiple data sources. So in the current example, we see with an Excel. So once you open your Power BI desktop, you go with the blank report and click on the get data. So once you click on the get data, it gives an option of the multiple data sources. So where you need to select the Excel, and once you select the Excel, where it gives an option to load your data. So once you connect with the Excel sheet and load your data, you have an option to transfer the data. And once you click on the transfer the data, there is a pop-up window which gets open. That is your Power Query editor. So in this query editor, where you can transfer, make any changes or add a column, delete a column, or any type of validation is done. So once that is done, where you have where the data cleaning, complete the cleaning process is done, removing unwanted columns and removing the blank rows. And if you want to fill the null value with a numeric value, those changes can be done. And once you click on the drop down of the remove rows and select the second last option to remove the blank rows. So similarly, you have an option once the data was not distorted and have not done any filtration, you have an option to save. So once you go to the home ribbon where you can find the option close, once you click on that, you have an option where you select close and apply. So once you apply that, so adding the calculated column, you can see the select the table. The data gets added in the left side of the field list. So once you see on the field list, you can see the data being added. So now if you want to, the other option to add a column. So you can just go to the table tools, click on new column. So once you click on new column, it opens where you can create a DAX formula. And here's some example where it's given related to a cost. They wanted to know the cost price. So sales minus profit or the loss. So in this way, where you can write the query. So now this cost field, it appears on the field panel. Once it is appeared, where once you select the table format and select few of the columns, where you can see the new column, the cost has been added. Next, let's see what steps to create calculated measure. So it also goes in the similar way. Once you open the desktop and load the data set, and where you can navigate to the home menu at the left side of the screen. Once you navigate, you have an option, multiple option. One is through new measure. Click on the new measure near the calculation. That is the way. And the other way is once you click at the field panel, once you right click, you have an option on the column where you can create new measure. So after clicking on the new measure, you have the pop-up window gets opened where you give the measure name. It gives the format, which type of format you want, and it gives from which home table and all. So here is a sample measure. They are creating as average fare of it from the table train. So once you start giving the DAX operations over here, you can see the average getting popped up with the table name. And what is that? It is related to the fare. Therefore, you can see the measure name, which is taken with the aggregation function using the average. And this is the table name provided with the column. So here you can see the measure got created. In the field panel, where you can see the average fare is visible. Now, when you see the calculated method to visualize using a card visualization, after selecting, you can see an empty card on the report. Now, once you drag the field on it, you can see the value of the fare getting reflected. Next, let's see the steps to create calculated tables. So, the same way where you open, and once as we have different views, report view, data view, and model view. So once you go to the data view in the Power BI desktop, as we know, data view, which is represented in the grid form, which is present on the left side. So once you click on that, you have an option of table tools. Once you click on the table tools, you have an option where you can create a new table. And on the up, once you click on the table, you can see, you can give the report table name and you can write a function. For example, here the DAX code to combine two tables. So they have entered the DAX code in a dialog box open for creating calculated table. So they're combining two physical tables using the union operation. So they wanted the data of 2019 and 2020. So the output comes in this way of the year 2019 and 2020 by combining both the tables using the union operator. Similarly, using the filter, they can also find the expression. So the filter goes with the table and the filter expression. So for example, here the measure name they have given us filter example with the sales data of 2019, the table name and the expression to see the overall profit, which is greater than or equal to 30. So here it gives, so the store name of the supermarket for the year 19, where the profit which are having greater than or equal to 30% has been replaced. Similarly, using a distinct value, as we know, distinct value which follows with the column name or the table expression which calculates the non-null function. So here in this, it says for the year 2020 and it wants the overall profit. It's calling the overall profit of the year. So once you give the example using the distinct and the distinct function and giving the sales table name and the column name. So once you give that column name where the output of the overall profit of the year is been reflected. So this is what are the different types of data calculation in the DAX function. So let's see with the other video, other topic, in the next session. Thank you all.